Let's review the idea of a force. Some examples include pushing. So if a student is pushing a car, or a pull, that's a force. The unit of a force is usually we do in newtons, which is an N. So for example, if a student pushes a car with a force of 40 newtons to the right, a different student pushes the same car with a force of 30 newtons to the left. In physics, we can draw what's called a force diagram or a free body diagram. Instead of a car, we just draw a box. The first student is going 40 newtons to the right, pushing 40 newtons to the right. The second student is pushing 30 newtons to the left. So that's what the diagram looks like. Then the net force, which is the total force, because they're pushing in different directions, is 40 minus 30, which is 10 newtons. What if they are pushing in the same direction? If student A is pushing to the right, and student B is, and the second student is also pushing to the right, so that's what I'm changing this time. Then we have two forces, both of them in the same direction. Notice that the 30 newtons is shorter than the 40 newtons. Because they're in the same direction, we're not subtracting. Instead, we're adding. So the net force will be 70 newtons. So, if we know the force, we know how something is going to move. Because what we know is that if we know the force, we can know the acceleration. Because F equals ma, that's Newton's second law. So for example, let's say that I have an object. We have two forces here, 50 newtons, 30 newtons, and the object we know is 2 kilograms. If we know the acceleration, we know how it's going to move. So the net force for this problem is going to be 50 minus 30, which is 20 newtons, and it's to the right, because this is the larger one. So that's the net force. Now we plug this into F equals ma. The net force is 20. The mass we get from here is 2. And we can solve this equation. We can solve this equation by divide by 2 on both sides. When we do that, we get a equals 10. That's the acceleration. So that's a very quick summary and review of forces. That's it for this video.